Hi, friend, and welcome to another episode of the Quantum Paradigm Podcast. I'm your host, Allison Alchemize. I am so jazzed to be with you today because I'm actually recording this just a few hours before going live in a workshop that I am co-facilitating with David Kahn of Octave Leap. We are doing this workshop about how to activate your quantum manifestation blueprint using human design. That's a mouthful, but basically, over the course of 2 hours, I'm going to break down one of my favorite exact techniques of where to look in your chart for the highest potency and quickest manifestation possible. So that's happening in a few hours. Whenever you are listening to this, just know the link will be in the show notes and you can still register for this workshop. It's a pay what you want situation. So, and as soon as you register, you have lifetime access to the replay as well. To put this in perspective, I gave about a 10 to 15 minute talk on some of these principles a few months ago, and I am still getting messages from people telling me how it changed the trajectory of their lives. So this is not going to be a 10 or 15 minute talk. This is going to be a 2-hour workshop. We're also doing some mini readings as an example to show you exactly how to do this. So this is going to be probably the most life-changing workshop I've ever offered publicly to date. So definitely grab that in the show notes below before you do anything else. Now, I want to jump right into today's topic, which is the lonely path of leadership and how to alchemize this in 2025 and beyond, because the struggle is very real. And if you are a leader, if you identify as a leader, if you're already leading a team, a company, a business, an organization, you already know what I'm talking about. You feel it in your bones, in your body. You're tired. And whether you admit it openly or not, you are probably very lonely. And I never would have known this unless I myself had to walk the path as well. And I'll never forget when I was first seen by another leader. This actually happened fairly recently. And I was opening up to a friend and mentor of mine who is about to celebrate her 80th birthday. And she has traveled the world extensively. She's been in backroom deals and negotiations with world leaders many times, more than once, and has helped them basically get out of their own way and tell their own story. So this woman is someone I really look up to. Her name is actually, I'll just drop her name right here. And her name is Michelle Gabriel. If you don't know her yet, you need to look her up. She is a wealth of knowledge, and I absolutely am honored to say that I want to be her when I grow up. But Michelle and I spent a lot of time together in person and a lot of really deep, quality, beautiful time. And at one point, I was just really opening up with her and getting vulnerable about some things that I was moving through in my business, in my life, as a leader, as an innovative thinker. And she just looked me dead in the eye and she said, "Oh my God, well, Allison, you're an early adopter. You see things years and decades before they happen." Because I had shared with her, I knew exactly what COVID was when it happened. Exactly. I still know exactly what it is, but I knew it the second that it happened, I knew what was going on. So I had seen that. I foresaw that 35, 36 years before it happened. So I was sharing with her about this, and she just looked at me and she was like, wow, no wonder you are so lonely. And guys, I burst into tears when she said that. I didn't even know I was lonely. I'm a very happy, fulfilled human being. I don't feel lonely. I feel very happy most days, right? So it's like, but when she saw me in that context as a visionary leader holding some really big visions and spaces, and leading my team and leading my family and leading my audience and just leading the people. Like, I step in the room and that's what happens. She called it for what it is, and that is the lonely path of leadership. And I've been very open and vulnerable with this with the people I've been speaking to lately. And wow. I think we have uncovered a silent epidemic, maybe even a pandemic, of that leaders are facing. And so I just wanted to get on here today and be very open with you guys and say, like, it's time. The time is here to alchemize this. So that's what I want to talk to you about today, because I was privileged enough to have that realization a little while ago, and to work through how to alchemize that. And that's what I want to transmit to you now. And we're also going to be touching on this in the workshop. Even though the workshop is not geared towards leaders in particular, the techniques and methods that I will be sharing today in the workshop will apply directly to you as well if you identify as a leader. So really, okay, there's two things. I could probably distill it into one thing. There's one thing that I want you to walk away from today. If you are facing the lonely responsibilities of being a leader, well, there are two. Okay, there's two. There are two things that you can do to alchemize that loneliness and make it work for you. Because around here, it's like, my name is Alchemia, for God's sake. I live, breathe, and am the definition of alchemy. So everything that I do has its roots in alchemy. How can we take something and purify out and cleanse of any impurities, and like get rid of anything that doesn't belong in the shamanic way of knowing that there are things that don't belong in certain areas and certain energies. So if we're dealing with something, a goal, if we have a goal, right? If you have a goal and there's something getting in the way, we need to get that out of the way. We just need to get it out, right? It's like this ancient idea of surgery. Let's perform a little bit of surgery, get it out of the way, remove that, and then move forward and metabolize whatever's left and alchemize whatever's left and turn it into gold. Okay, that's what I'm all about. So if you are feeling the lonely responsibilities of being a leader, just know that this can be alchemized, and it can be transmuted and changed into a positive force of nature for you, so you can put it to use for you. And there's two ways, two things that you can do this that will help you do this. Number one, let's see, which one do I want to put first? Okay, number one, I do want to put this first, is community. Okay, now this may seem very simple, and most of my techniques are very simple. And that's why I find, so hi, we have people joining live. That's why I take such joy in this work, is because it doesn't have to be complicated. But if you are feeling the lonely responsibilities of being a leader, then having an aligned community, number one, is imperative. It doesn't have to be large. You don't have to go join 7 groups. In fact, don't. Like, please don't. I know people who outsource way too much of what they're looking for inwardly, and they're following like a million gajillion people, and they're going to this event on Tuesday and this event on Wednesday and this event. Hi, Stephanie. And maybe you're Sagittarius and that just fuels your fire, and you need to be doing something every 5 minutes. But for the rest of the zodiac, I'm kind of teasing and playing with this, but like, don't outsource so much of what you're looking for by trying to find a community on every single corner. They are not your community. If you are a leader, you will be called to very specific groups, and maybe only 1, maybe 2. But don't go overboard here. Get clear and intentional. and listen to your inner guidance, listen to your body. Don't listen to the hyped emotion that comes up when you find someone that you do resonate with. Listen to the deeper knowing. Okay, now that's a nuanced conversation I'm going to save for a different time. But if you are leading anything in your life right now, whether it is your business, your organization, your team, your family, your community, whatever, you do need aligned people in your corner. And the higher, the higher up you go on leadership, on this leadership scale, like the more that's involved and the higher the stakes, the more selective you will become with the people that you surround yourself with. And this is absolutely appropriate. This is absolutely appropriate. I am actually very, very selective with who I hang out with. I'm extremely generous with my time, with my resources and my energy, and with my audience. And like, I am absolutely accessible, but at the same time, I'm very intentional, and I don't listen to almost anybody. I am very, very selective with who I participate with in my inner circle, because I'm a very refined kind of energy. And that will resonate with some people and it won't with others. That's fine, but listen to your inner guidance as to who needs to be in the room with you, and be there, because what happens is, as leaders, and especially I see this, well, I was going to say with females, but actually no, I've been seeing this a lot with male leaders recently as well. So regardless of gender or gender identity, it's like leaders across the board, we feel like we're on these islands and we're going through the trenches alone, because sometimes it's rainbows and unicorns, and actually a lot of times it can be. And then also sometimes it's really in the trenches. And 2025 has not been very kind to almost anybody that I know. I mean, that's just the truth. So what is happening is we are being called to get off of our islands and start meeting and collaborating and being very open and vulnerable in ways that we have not been so far collectively up until this point. So, number one, find your aligned community. Find your aligned community and practice vulnerability with the right people. For God's sake, please remember that unfortunately there are energies out there that like to prey upon others, and they may or may not be aware that they're even doing it. So just make sure that when you are in aligned community, the energy feels clean and safe, supportive, transparent, with integrity, right? Now, these are my core values that I'm listing to you. These are the core values of my team and my business as well. But just like make sure that the energy feels correct. And if there's anything in your system that is saying, like, ooh, that's a red flag, ooh, that's a red flag, definitely listen. Because during these pivotal times in humanity, what happens is that we are all more susceptible to the amazing good and positivity that is coming through, and the abundance and the wealth codes, which I will be talking about in today's workshop. And also we are susceptible to other energies that would prey on and take advantage of this level of purity and refinement. So listen to your inner guidance. Listen to the signals that your body is giving you, okay? And feel into, does this energy feel clean for me? Does it feel supportive? Am I able to be vulnerable and feel very, very seen and heard and supported? So that's number one. The second thing you can do to alchemize the lonely path of a leader and not feel so alone as you come through with your mission and your vision is to get your body in nature more. I've talked about this so much on the podcast, and when people talk about manifestation, I don't hear anyone else talking about this very much. in the manifestation circles. They're talking about all these, the mantras and the journaling and whatever. And look, I still love journaling. I don't do it as much as I used to, because I don't need to as much. But like, these tools are great, but what will 10x not only your manifestations, but will help the lonely path, the loneliness that you can feel as a leader, is getting your physical body upgraded according to Mother Nature's codes. Because, and here's why, because there is so much shifting so fast for humanity right now. There are very few constants in our lives. And what is one of the only things that is a steady constant in your life? The ground beneath your feet, my friend. The earth, Mother Earth, Terra, Gaia, whatever we want to call her. This land is here for us, to support us. This is why I have intentionally selected the point in Costa Rica where I am hosting the world's first incubator for new paradigm leaders. In just like 6 weeks, like it's coming up. There are still a few spots available, so please reach out. Click some of the links in the description below. But also just reach out. You can reach me on Instagram at Alchemy with Allison, or email me, Allison@AllisonAlchemia.com, to ask about this if you are feeling resonant with it, because this is the most highly intentional incubator I've ever heard of. We are coming to this land with the purpose of being held and recalibrated and upgraded in a way that will affect the quantum field at large, but also will alchemize any lingering loneliness or just that kind of like desolate feeling of knowing that you have such a beautiful vision that wants to come through and come forth. And it's been difficult to bring it forth because of the nature of the world that we've lived in so far, the nature of the matrix. It's not a pure, safe world. And these visions that are coming through the visionary leaders are pure. They're pure and they're refined. And you need a very pure area to bring that through. So I selected the area in Costa Rica where we will be meeting for many reasons. But one of the reasons is because there are 4 huge energies that converge in one spot at where we are meeting on our campus. And that is the spirit of the river, the spirit of the ocean, the spirit of the jungle, and the spirit of mountains. All 4 converging in one point where it's incredible. I mean, I was just down there a couple of months ago, and you can hear your deepest wisdom louder than anything you have ever heard in your life. It's like everything just starts falling into alignment easier and easier and easier because all the impurities are being cleansed out easily and safely. It doesn't have to be this like huge purgative process. And I'm not here to sell any like sensational, like seeking experience. I'm here about actual transformation that's bringing about actual birth of actual visions that are coming into 3D. This is my whole life's purpose. So I absolutely get and I understand the struggles that a leader faces on the daily, because it is lonely. It is lonely. I posted something on social media a few days ago, and I knew it was going to be polarizing, and that's part of the reason I posted it. But I got a really funny and interesting direct message from someone who was clearly triggered by it, but he was kind of cloaking it to where it was like he didn't want to admit that he was triggered. But he was asking me, he was kind of pointing the finger at me and saying, how does this provide value to someone who blah, 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 blah. And then he described like the complete 180 opposite of the person that I was speaking to. And I wrote back and I said, I don't know, it probably doesn't provide any value to that kind of person because that's not who I was speaking to. It's just like really funny. But part of the things that he said in his message was really interesting to me. He said, but what if I am la la la? And he listed all these like amazing things about who he is. And then he said, I'm actually seeking out obstacles so that I can become a better person. And I was like, oh, now I see. Like, that's sweet. He's probably in his early 20s and he's wanting to become better. And I absolutely commend him. And in that time of life, it can be like, okay, I want to seek out obstacles. And I'm like, listen, listen, babe, I'm not speaking to that person. The people I'm speaking to don't have to go find fucking obstacles. They find them, because my people are creating massive waves in the quantum field and there is resistance that meets it. That's just the truth. You don't have to go looking for obstacles when you're a trailblazer. No, they find you. Do you think that the people who like discovered these lands, like think of some of the first white people who showed up on this land called the United States of America, which back then was called something else, I'm sure. You know, the natives knew how to navigate this this wilderness. The Europeans had no idea. Do you think they had to find obstacles to strengthen themselves? No, the obstacles were plentiful, right? Do you think that they felt alone? Do you see what I'm saying here? And now I'm not here to talk about colonialism or anything like that, but do you see what I'm saying? Even though the realms I talk about are invisible to the 3D eyes, you can feel and sense the energetic field that I clearly see. Just because I'm clairvoyant, clairaudient, all of the clairs, because it's been in my bloodline for many generations, and I've always been this way. Just because I have a different way of seeing doesn't mean that you can't see either. You're building your awareness around it. And I'm convinced that less than 100 years from now, we will all be as telepathic, probably more so even than some of the most telepathic people are right now. Anyway, I'm not even going to get on that rant because I'm so telepathic. I tend to forget that other people sometimes have not gotten as familiar with that gift. And it's amazing. But like these invisible fields are becoming more and more visible. So that's the only reason I bring up that analogy with the whole European thing coming to America. The obstacles you don't have to go find them if you're a leader and you're making waves. If you're making splashes in your industry, if you're wanting to create positive change in the way that communities operate and function, if you're wanting to call in more and better wealth and abundance and money and shift the way that you operate with that, you don't have to go and look for the obstacles, right? But what you may have to be open to receiving and responding to are the aligned communities and the aligned spaces, right? This all comes down to trusting yourself more every single second of every single day, okay? So I just want you to hear, if you are leading, and if you're listening to this, I know you already are, and if you are valuing and passionate about freedom and abundance, then I am here for you. This is my dharma. My dharma is actually to lead the leaders, right? So if this is resonant with you, reach out to me in any of the channels that I mentioned thus far. If you are catching this live, then go ahead and join the workshop. If you don't know how to get there, just let me know and I'll get you there. Even if you're catching this when it replays on the podcast, like I said, go ahead and click on the link in the description and we'll get you everything, because you'll have lifetime access to the replay. It will change your life. And if you are feeling called to the in-person experience in Costa Rica, I guarantee you will never be the same. You will feel and be so embodied, so deeply connected to yourself, you will always look back to that week and say, oh my God, that's the week that my life changed for the positive forever. Nothing was the same. Like, that is a pivotal point. I can say this with conviction because I was down there just a few months ago with other hosts. And I, of course, ended up leading the other hosts. And I'm still getting messages from them saying, oh my God, Allison, that one conversation. We were only there together for 3 days. And I wasn't even hosting the retreat. I was just there as a participant. So when I'm telling you that I'm hosting this incubator experience for you, you will change your life in the most beautiful and gentle and effective ways that you could possibly imagine. There's only one word for this. The one word, magic. If you want to see and experience magic, if you want to be held so securely, not only by an embodied goddess human, but by pure, unadulterated land, then that experience is for you. All of that information is in my bio in Instagram, but you can also just email me, Allison at AllisonAlchemia.com. Either me or one of my team members will respond immediately. And I think that's all I have to say today. I'm going to go prepare for the workshop, and I will be back same time, same place next week. I love you. Thank you for hanging in with me. I'll chat to you later.